Visitors and emergency workers, I welcome you all here today to share with us in the town of Hudson the dedication of this memorial to those who lost their lives on September 11, 2001. Hello, my name's Dave Morin. I'm the chairman of the Hudson, New Hampshire 9/11 Memorial Committee. This memorial was put together by a large group of Hudson residents who volunteered their time to construct this beautiful memorial in memory of all those lost on September 11, 2001. The sidewalk that you see is shaped in the flight path of Flight 93 that crashed into the field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Behind me also is a stone wall in which the steel sits, which is in the shape of the Pentagon. And the entrance from where the sidewalk enters the Pentagon is the exact location where the plane struck the Pentagon on September 11, 2001. If you look through the timeline as you walk up the sidewalk, each stone represents the dedicated time that one of the planes struck a building and the people lost their lives. The exact time is etched on the stone. As it will bring you up the sidewalk into the steel, you can follow the timeline of the events that took place that day. Further up on the right there is a stone dedicated to all the military personnel who lost their lives fighting the terrorists who caused 9/11, and that stone is in memory of them. Unfortunately, the attacks still have their effects on us today. Hundreds of emergency service workers are dying from cancer related to the 9/11 and when the towers collapsed. In the future, the 9/11 committee will be placing one more stone in the memorial in memory of those who have died due to the effects of the attack. At 8:46 a.m. on September 11, 2001, Flight 11 crashed into Tower 1. Hudson resident David Cavolson was on that flight and was killed. At 9:02 a.m., Flight 175 crashed into Tower 2, which was also known as the South Tower. At 9:37 a.m., Flight 77 crashes into the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia. At 9:59 a.m., the South Tower, the second building to be struck, collapses. After a valiant effort by the passengers on Flight 93 to take back their plane crashes in a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. At 10:28 a.m., Tower 1, what was also called the North Tower, collapses, taking thousands of lives. On the day of the attacks in 2001, members of the Hudson Fire Department quickly realized that a major disaster due to the attacks had taken place in New York City. Teams of firefighters were organized that, if called upon, were going to travel to New York City and assist in the rescue operations. The professional firefighters of Hudson also put together a drive to supply food, tools, and other equipment to be used at Ground Zero by the rescue workers. A local firm donated a tractor-trailer truck, and within 2 days, the residents of Hudson came forward and filled that tractor-trailer with all the needed supplies, which were driven to New York City to the first responders working on the site to provide the necessary equipment and food that they would need to continue to rescue those still within the rubble. In the late winter of 2011, Deputy Fire Chief Rob Buxton had found an article in a news fire service publication stating that towns could receive a piece of steel for memorials if they would like to construct one. Hudson Fire Department applied to the Port Authority of New York for a piece of steel. On the day that the Navy SEALs killed Osama bin Laden, the town of Hudson was notified that we would be receiving a piece of steel for our memorial. We received a photograph of the steel that the Port Authority was planning on providing the town, and due to the size of it, it would not meet our needs. We sent back a request for a bigger piece of steel, and what we received is what you see behind me, the steel from Tower 1, 23rd floor elevator shaft. Tower 1 was the building that Flight 11 struck, which Hudson resident David Kavulson was on, who died on September 2001. The beginning of the memorial was put together with volunteers, which included firefighters, police officers, members of the Public Works, members of the community, and the Board of Selectmen. These members came together in early spring of 2011 and sat down as a group and formulated a plan to build this memorial. Within 15 minutes, the group had decided on a design which was etched on a napkin, which now resides at the Hudson Historical Society as part of Hudson's history. The group, working hard throughout the spring and summer, worked to raise funds up to $100,000 to construct this memorial. With the donations of many organizations within the town and businesses, the plan was put forth and the planning began. In late spring, Continental Paving donated a tractor-trailer truck, which was driven to the Port Authority hangar in Queens, New York, and the piece of steel was picked up and transported back to Hudson, where a large group met the steel at the Hudson Central Fire Station, and a brief ceremony was held. The steel was next placed in a safe location and cared for by a local business who provided services of cleaning the steel and providing a safe coating to keep it from being vandalized, to make sure that it would always remain in the state that you see it in today. Throughout the summer, committee members participated in numerous events and fundraising to raise the funds to build the memorial. Several construction companies were contacted to get a cost and an estimate of how long it would take them to construct the memorial. Anywhere from $100,000 in 1 to 2 months was given the time frame to the committee to build a memorial. In late August of 2011, with only weeks to go before the dedication ceremony, it was decided that the committee itself would build this memorial. With the expertise of many of the committee members, with construction, wall construction, cement, and many other trades, the group got to work 2 weeks before September 11th, 2011. All the work you see at this memorial was done by volunteers. Several local companies donated the cement work. Companies donated the materials to build the memorial. During that construction of the 2 weeks, a hurricane dumping several inches of rain hit the area. This did not faze the volunteers at all. They were out here in the pouring rain on their hands and knees, laying the sod that surrounds this memorial. Within 2 weeks of all volunteer help, working 14-hour days, the volunteers finished the memorial 1 day before the dedication service.
Did you stand there in shock at the sight of that black smoke rising against that blue sky? Did you shout out in anger and fear for your neighbor, or did you just sit down and cry? Did you weep for the children who lost their dear loved ones and pray for the ones who don't know? Did you rejoice for the people who walk from the rubble and sob for the ones left below? Did you burst out in pride for the red, white, and blue, and the heroes who died just doing what they do? Did you look up to heaven for some kind of answer and look at yourself and what really matters? Where were you when the world stopped turning that September day? Teaching a class full of innocent children or driving down some cold interstate? Did you feel guilty 'cause you're a survivor in a crowded room? Did you feel alone? Did you call up your mother and tell her you loved her? Did you dust off that Bible at home? Did you open your eyes and hope it never happened, or close your eyes and not go to sleep? Did you notice the sunset for the first time in ages, or speak to some stranger on the street? Did you lay down at night and think of tomorrow, go out and buy you a gun? Did you turn off that violent old movie you're watching and turn on I Love Lucy reruns? Did you go to a church and hold hands with some strangers, stand in line and give your own blood? Did you just stay home and cling tight to your family? Thank God you've got somebody to love. I'm just a singer of simple songs. I'm not a real political woman. I watch CNN, but I'm not sure I can tell you the difference in Iraq and Iran. But I know Jesus and I talk to God, and I remember this from when I was young. Faith, hope, and love are some good things He gave us. The greatest is love. So, where were you when the world stopped turning that September day?
After the towers collapsed and the Pentagon was attacked, 2,977 United States residents, firefighters, police officers, EMS personnel, and many people from countries from around the world lost their lives. The steel behind me represents all of those people who died at the World Trade Center in New York City. The Pentagon-shaped wall represents those who lost their lives at the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia. The green grass that surrounds the steel on top of the Pentagon represents those who lost their lives when the plane crashed in the field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. The building standing next to the steel in the memorial is a replica of what the Twin Towers looked like before 9/11 took place. The Hudson 9/11 Committee was committed to make every part of this memorial to honor and remember those who lost their lives on that day in September, and also what it meant to this nation. The tree behind me is a pear tree, the exact type that was found in the rubble on Ground Zero, still alive after the many months of clearing and searching the World Trade Center lot. Also on the site to my right are rose bushes, which were also grown in memory of those lost on 9/11, and we have several of those placed around the memorial also to honor those who were lost. I would like to read an editorial that was about our country right after the attacks took place. It's from a Romanian newspaper, the Daily Event. And with the way our country seems to be at this time becoming separated, it will bring us back to when we were all one. The title is Ode to America. Why are Americans so united? They would not resemble one another even if you painted them all one color. They speak all languages of the world and form an astonishing mixture of civilizations, and religious beliefs. On 9/11, the American tragedy turned 300 million people into a hand put on a heart. Nobody rushed to accuse the White House, the Army, or the Secret Service that they are a bunch of losers. Nobody rushed to empty their bank accounts. Nobody rushed out into the streets nearby to gape about. Instead, Americans volunteered to donate blood and give a helping hand. After the first moments of panic, they raised their flag over the smoking ruins, putting on t-shirts, caps, and ties in the colors of the national flag. They placed flags on buildings and in cars as if every place and in every car a government official or president was passing. On every occasion, they started singing, "God Bless America." I watched the live broadcast and rerun after rerun for hours, listening to the story of the guy who went down 100 floors with the woman in a wheelchair without knowing who she was. Or the California hockey player who gave his life fighting with the terrorists, preventing the plane from hitting a target that could have killed hundreds or thousands of people. How on earth are they able to respond united as one human being? And perceivably, with every word and every musical note, the memory of some turned into a modern myth of tragic heroes. And with every phone call, millions and millions of dollars were put into collection, aimed at rewarding not a man or a family, but a spirit, which no money can buy. What on earth unites Americans in such a way? Their land, their history, their economic power. Money? I tried for hours to find the answer, humming songs and murmuring phrases with the risk of sounding commonplace. I thought things over. I reached only one conclusion. Only freedom can work miracles. Never forget. With the crowd that we have here tonight, I am very proud to say that Hudson hasn't forgot.